Hello again. This is the second in my series of stories about Princess Ruby. In this story, Princess Ruby meets a dragon who is really very unfriendly. And once again, Prince Rainer comes to her rescue. Princess Ruby was sitting in her chair, thinking about the time she had met Prince Rainer. I really did like him, she said to herself. I'd like to meet him again. She went to the book of adventures, opened it up, but this time did not put her finger at any old page, but at the page where she'd last met Prince Rainer. She closed her eyes and said the magic words, "Please take me there." When she opened her eyes, she looked around, and the place was very familiar. The grass was pink, the leaves on the trees were purple, and the red and yellow striped river was in the distance. "I'm not going in the river again," she said to herself. "It was very scary last time, but I do hope I can meet Prince Rainer again." In the distance she saw some trees, so she began to walk slowly towards them. Suddenly she heard a rather frightening noise, a roaring noise, roar, roar. It was very frightening, and she couldn't tell where it was coming from. She looked around, and suddenly again she heard the noise again, roar, roar, louder this time. This was very scary, and Princess Ruby ran quickly towards the trees, hoping to hide away from whatever was making the noise. But as she got close to the trees, the branches suddenly burst open and a very, very scary looking dragon came out. Now Princess Ruby had never seen a dragon before, although she'd seen pictures of them. But this was a very scary dragon. He was very tall, even when he was sitting on his back legs. He had brown, green scales all over his body. His eyes were a bright red. The scariest thing of all was the smoke and flames coming from his nostrils. He looked down at Princess Ruby and said, "How dare you come into my land? I don't like strangers. I think I will eat you up." Princess Ruby was really very scared. She looked around and suddenly she saw a white horse coming towards her. It was Prince Rainer. He galloped towards the dragon, jumped off his horse and took out his sword and said, "Leave Princess Ruby alone, you unfriendly dragon, or I will have to fight you." The dragon didn't hurt him, but he said, "I'm not normally unfriendly, but I've got this awful pain in my foot and it's making me very, very grumpy." Prince Rainer said, "Lift up your foot and I'll have a look." The dragon lifted his foot up and Prince Rainer looked carefully underneath. "I'm not surprised you're in pain," he said. "There's a very big thorn sticking in your foot. Stand still and I'll try and get it out." Prince Rainer used his sword to take the thorn out from the foot. The dragon flinched a little, but didn't try to hurt them. "There you are," said Prince Rainer. "That's the thorn out of your foot. Now put your foot down and see if you can walk." The dragon put his foot on the floor and started to walk. "It doesn't hurt at all now," he said. "Thank you very much for doing that. I'm not normally unfriendly, but this pain was making me very, very grumpy. I've got to go now, so bye." And he turned and walked back into the woods. Prince Rainer and Princess Ruby walked through the woods, and Prince Ruby said, "Thank you, you've saved my life once again. You're a very brave man to do that." They talked about various things until it was time for Ruby to go home. She said to Prince Rainer, "Well, I've got to go again now, but it's nice meeting you again, and thank you again for saving my life." She closed her eyes and said the magic words, "Please take me home." When she opened them, she was back in her castle, sat in her favourite chair. She thought, that was a nice adventure with Prince Rainier. A bit scary, but I did realise that when you meet somebody who's grumpy and bad-tempered, maybe there's a good reason for it. The end.